And that, of course, means it's time for Bontis on Business. Nick Bontis from the DeGroote School of Business is here. Nick, thanks for your time. Just before the break, we were talking about inflation. It's up a little bit now, but, I mean, is there a concern here that we could be returning to the stagflation times of the 70s at this point?
Well, you know, if you dig deeper into the numbers, yeah, we did go up, but the reason why we went up was because of gas prices. In fact, gas prices were up 2.8%. We saw them at the pumps because we pump our cars every week. If you take gas prices out of the equation, as you reported, Nick, it only went about 2.1, and you know what? That's A-okay, because our target for the next couple of years, as per Bank of Canada's plan, is 2%. So I'm not too worried. The problem is now with low interest rates, people actually have a disincentive to save. They would rather actually just take credit or put more stuff on their credit cards. That's actually the bad situation right now with low interest rates. So having said all of that, I think the Bank of Canada is just going to hold steady.
Yeah, you hear radio ads about the high interest savings of 2%. I mean, really, 2% is not exactly high interest. No. Everything, of course, is relative. Now, we just saw some shoppers in that B-roll there. We were talking yesterday, too, about Sears Canada slashing prices. Seems to be a bit of a new strategy, new way they're going here. We know, of course, when Walmart opened up, Eaton's went out of business shortly thereafter. Is this Sears preparing for Target coming and, of course, competing with Walmart and everybody else?
Sears got Target on their back, right?
I think
Nick?
they do,
right.
yeah.
They do. I mean, this is obvious. I mean, they laid off 400,000, they mean Sears, laid off 400,000 people. Sales were down 7.6% for the quarter. You got Target coming around the corner. I mean, they had to do something. So what do? They announced everyday low prices. I think I've heard of that before.
I think I have, too.
Another American company is doing that called Walmart, everyday low prices. So there's only one way to actually make money now in the retail industry, and it's not on pricing, because everybody can compare shopping. There's two lines to every profit statement: revenue and expenses. And what Sears has to do now is focus on expenses. Rationalize your supply chain, become very, very efficient and productive, become a lean machine. Because when Target comes for the competition, you got to be ready.
Right. Speaking of lean machines and rationalizing how you do business, the auto show, of course, is on now in Toronto. We've seen a turnaround in the auto show, specifically the Detroit 3. GM putting out some pretty good numbers. So is the auto sector now back at full speed?
We are back in action,
really?
Which is good news,
That's
you know,
huge.
because 1 out of every 4 cars General Motors sold was built in Ontario. It's an unbelievable statistic. You know, we got 400,000 jobs in this province related somehow to the auto sector. So if you recall a couple years back when everybody was complaining about bailing the industry out and people thought they weren't going to pay up their debts, you got to give props to the auto industry. Not only did they pay their bill ahead of time, they've turned it around right now. And if you get a chance to go to the auto show, what you're going to see is Canadian and Ontario innovation right there on display. So when I heard the news, Nick, I was very, very pleased.
All right, speaking of paying bills, Ontario getting a bit of a shock treatment from Don Drummond this week, talking about how far our bills could skyrocket if something isn't done. And in one sense, he compared Ontario to Greece. Is that a fair comparison, and what are your overall thoughts?
Lord have mercy, comparing it to my motherland.
Exactly.
I can't believe it. You know what? It's unfair. Because the big difference is, you know, people of Greece, and I'm not generalizing here, you know, did not pay taxes for decades. And that's the reason why they are in trouble. We here are a much more disciplined province. We're paying our taxes. The problem is that our expenditures, like healthcare, are getting a little too dear. So I think it's a little bit of unfair, probably a little bit of a, you know, a scare tactic. But Ontario is definitely not Greece. I don't think we're going to see austerity measures, and I definitely don't think we're going to see riots and fires in downtown Toronto anytime soon.
We certainly hope not. Hey, Nick, thanks for your insight once again. Appreciate it. We'll see you back here next week.
Take care.
Have a good weekend.